cultivation in Texas was begun in 1821, and by 1852, Texas was listed as the 8th state in the top 10 of cotton production. During the Civil War, cotton production decreased, but by 1869 it was back. The introduction of barbed wire and the building of railroads helped the industry grow. Texas was listed as one of the top cotton producers until 1892.
In 1892, the boll weevil, or Anthonymous grandis, its scientific name, traveled to the Rio Grande Valley. Boll weevils eat and lay eggs in the buds of cotton, which destroys the crop.
The first person to announce the boll weevil to be in Texas was Charles W. Dury from Corpus Christi, Texas.
In a letter dated October 3, 1894, that Dury sent to the Department of Agriculture in Washington, he explained how the cotton of that area had been damaged or completely destroyed by a weevil or bug.
It was believed that the boll weevil caught a ride from the Rio Grande Valley to a gin in Alice when cotton was transported for ginning. From there, it spread through the cotton fields of Corpus Christi, San Diego, and Alice.
It's difficult because this boll weevil can be in a piece of equipment and ride down the road. It could be in your jeans or just, any kind of equipment that you have, a tractor, combine. They just grab, that's what we think, and it actually moved up to Lubbock now into Kansas and Nebraska, is that we have strippers, machines that start in South Texas, and when the cotton is mature, they harvest and they go to the next town, they go to the next town, and the next town. And so there's some chances, we don't know if it's 100%, but that weevil's just taking a ride going up north.
As a result of Dury's letter, C.H. Tyler Townsend was sent from the Department of Agriculture. Mr. Townsend spent 1 month in South Texas and adjacent Mexican territory and submitted an alarming report.
In the report, Mr. Townsend stated the cotton around Alice, San Diego, and Corpus Christi had been damaged 75 to 90%. He suggested burning the fields, flooding where possible, rotation of crops, and picking and burning the bolls.
He especially recommended the abandoning of cotton in a 50-mile strip of country along the Texas border. The spread of the insect continued, and a state convention was held at Victoria, Texas in 1898 to discuss a solution to the boll weevil infestation.
In 1903, the Texas legislature offered $50,000 to anyone who could find a solution to the boll weevil problem. In the years 1899 to 1904, it was estimated that 1.75 million bales of cotton valued at $100 million were lost. Cotton production was booming before the arrival of the boll weevil. Most of the southern United States had turned to cotton production because of its great yield to the farmers.
Then the boll weevil arrived, causing a near depression. Because the cotton demand was so high, farmers wanted to only plant cotton. However, when the boll weevil destroyed the cotton, the farmers were not the only ones to feel the effect. Financial losses also impacted the cotton gins and oil mills that were abandoned or destroyed because of the boll weevil. Due to the boll weevil, farms, homes, and even entire towns were abandoned while tenant farmers, sharecroppers, and laborers moved either east or north in search of better land for farming cotton. Wherever the boll weevil was established, the result was agricultural and economic panic. The value of cotton crops greatly decreased. The overall loss was loss of lands and homesteads by owners, inability for tenants to pay out, and a period of great poverty and distress among all classes of agricultural people.
Frederick Malley was the first professor of entomology at Texas A&M University, and when the legislature of the state of Texas passed a bill providing for the employment of a state entomologist, Malley was named the first entomologist.
His assignment was to study the boll weevil. He set up experimental stations and traveled to many farms to test and demonstrate different methods and insecticides to get rid of the boll weevil. George H. Alford, writing for the Agricultural Extension Office, wrote a booklet on diversified farming as a way to help farmers. Alford pointed out that diversified farming would help maintain the soil fertility, destroy insect enemies, and grow rather than import products.
George Alford cautioned against farmers to stay away from a single crop system. The boll weevil did force some positive changes. Because the problems the boll weevil was causing to cotton, southern farmers started to diversify their crops and started raising livestock. By 1913, the 10 southern states had increased their production of corn, oats, rice, white and sweet potatoes, hay, dairy, cows, and hogs. In Alabama, the decision to diversify crops had a positive impact on the state's economy. In 1910, almost 60% of the cotton crop in Coffee County was destroyed. Many farmers faced bankruptcy. Extension agent John Pittman suggested farmers turn to peanuts.
Look at cotton acreage. So 1909 is before the boll weevil gets there. 1919 is that year when they, it's sort of the second year that they're really planting peanuts in earnest. Look at how cotton acreage drops. Look how cotton production drops. Peanut acreage goes way up. Peanut bushels go way up. Fertilizer cost goes up too. But farmers are making way more money growing peanuts than cotton.
Because the peanut crops had such a positive impact in Alabama, there is now a monument standing as a symbol of man's ability to adjust to adversity. The boll weevil did not only venture into the cotton crops, it also found its way into American culture. There are many boll weevil songs that have been recorded throughout history.
In fact, Brooke Benton made it all the way to the #2 spot on the pop charts with his version of Boll Weevil. It has even been said that the boll weevil had an impact on the Delta blues. In 1958, at an annual meeting of the National Cotton Council, two cotton producers, Robert Coker and J. F. McLaurin, sponsored the resolution suggesting the development of an eradication program.
By 1958, the National Cotton Council, one guy I can remember his name for sure, his name was Robert Coker, because of Coker cotton varieties. He proposed a resolution at the National Cotton Council meeting that to eradicate the boll weevil as soon as the technology could be developed.
Many products were used to try to win the battle against the boll weevils, including London Purple, Paris Green, both solution and dust, powdered arsenate of lead, calcium arsenate dust, and DDT.
Back in the 50s and 60s, we used a product called DDT, and it was very good. It killed anything that was out in the field. The problem was that we found out it actually got into the water system. We had rains, and we'd get in the water system, and then that product would get into the fish, and then the birds came and ate the fish, and found out that DDT actually softens the egg, and so we never got some of our birds hatching. So that was our biggest concern with that product. But that changes some of our pesticide philosophy and understanding how this pesticide has effect on other organisms out in the real world. And that's biomagnification is the term. That big circle of where that product goes. Is it going into the soil, stays in the soil, or does it go into the water?
When the little boll weevil entered Texas, it had a big impact. Economic losses had a negative impact on individuals and businesses. Many people lost their land and homes. For sharecroppers, tenant farmers, and laborers working in the cotton fields, the boll weevil took away their source of income, which created a migration to the north as the individuals set out to find employment.
Although the boll weevil brought hard times to many, it also brought positive change. Because of this little insect, farmers discovered the importance and benefit of crop diversification. The boll weevil also brought about advancements in technology and science related to agriculture. These advancements still continue today.
Well, it impacts the bottom dollar for the farmer. I mean, today you can buy blue jeans that are maybe $30, $40 because of the way we've managed the pesticides. The farmer doesn't have to put as much money into producing the crop. And so you don't pay those $120 jeans or some other prices that you would over in some other countries. So we can keep the price of jeans and cotton shirts down to a point that it's affordable. And if we still have insect problems and we have to put more money into it, then that money, the cost to you, the consumer, is going to go high.
Although eradication is essentially complete in Texas, except for Rio Grande Valley and a spot or two north of there, potential problems exist in the valley and across the border in Mexico.
There's 5,000 acres of cotton across the river in Mexico. They have been in a program. They have had a good program. Well, I want to tell you some things that happened. The cartel and the serious situations in Mexico have made that program very difficult.
The Battle of the Boll Weevil has been going on for 121 years and still continues in some areas. Instead of defeat, the boll weevil has shown us that when people come together to find a solution, anything is possible.